What's one barrier you have to loving others well? That's what I'm talking about today with my sister Vera. We are talking about simple things like maybe you're just overly busy and you need more margin in your life. Or maybe you really want to write that letter to somebody, but you don't have any stamps. Whatever it is, that's what we're talking about today. Just practically, what are the barriers that we have to loving others well? And maybe what's one step we can take to doing a better job? So that's what I'm talking about with my sister Vera today. So glad you're here with us.
Hey, I'm Natalie Abbott.
And I'm Vera Schmitz. We are sisters who host the Dwell Differently podcast.
We help you memorize and meditate on one Bible verse every month. And all month long on our podcast, we talk about what that verse means, why it matters, and how we can apply that verse to our daily lives.
Hey, welcome back to the Dwell Differently podcast. I'm your host, Natalie Abbott.
And I'm her sister, Vera Schmitz, co-host and friend and sister.
All the things, guys. Vera is in a particularly silly mood today, so we'll just see if we're capable even of having this conversation.
I think it only makes it better. I needed it. I needed a little silly today. So
you did.
We're bringing it.
She was making like finger glasses at me right as we were opening. So
and for those of you who don't know finger glasses, maybe this will be the cover image of the Instagram reel that I make later of this podcast episode.
You look like a cartoon.
I'm here for it. This is the best.
I'm totally here for it. Okay, awesome.
Here we are.
Today we are sisters who love each other, talking about the love of Jesus for us and how we should love one another. So our verse this month is 1 John 3:16. Vera, you want to take it away?
For this is how we know what love is. Jesus Christ laid down his life for us, and we ought to lay down our lives for our brothers and sisters.
Okay. So that idea of laying down our lives is, I just think it's a really hard concept. And I think so obviously Jesus actually died for us, and that's not what we're being called, at least not regularly every day, to be doing. Maybe at some point we will, but we're called to lay down our lives. And if we're completely honest, this idea of laying down our lives for no personal benefit is a really difficult thing, because it's like, actually it means laying down our stuff. It means laying down our prerogative, our schedule, our convenience, whatever the thing is. It's something that is we would consider to be something we need or is life-giving to us. And yet, as followers of Jesus, we're called to give something up for others, to give life up, essentially. So, Vera, what is one area you struggle to give up your comforts or your preferences or, control, whatever it is?
A tidy house.
You have tiny people, so you cannot have a tidy house.
I know, and it's still so hard for me.
Really?
A lot of, just in the moments, especially at the end of the day when it's like my kids are like, "Mom, come play basketball in the basement with me." Which I have 3 boys, so the play is never like, "Mom, come color with me." It's like, "Mom, let's wrestle," which I'm here for most of the time, but a lot of times, especially at the end of the day when I'm tired and I've already done the playing, it's like all they want is my love and my attention. And I'm like, no, I'm going to finish the dishes. I'm going to straighten things up. I'm going to take 10 minutes to myself. And there are times for that, for sure. I'm not saying don't make space for yourself at all. But I think that was especially hard when I was a new mommy. Like, it's really easy to keep a tidy house with one kid. And then you have a second kid and you're like, oh, things are a little less picked up here. And then you have 3. And so it's like, just this Sunday, our one of our elders preached on Mary and Martha. And, this idea that Martha was trying to serve Jesus, and there's nothing wrong with serving him. But if her heart is for service over being with Jesus, the way Mary wanted to be with Jesus, then that's where the rub comes. And so I think a lot of times with my kids in particular, I'm trying to serve them and also myself by having a tidy home and things in order instead of being with them and truly showing them what love is, which is to lay down a perfect house. They definitely don't care. That is for me though.
Right.
What about you, Nat?
Oh Gosh, I feel like there are actually a billion things right now that I struggle to lay down. We're in like hardcore sports season with 3 kids in 3 separate track programs, of which they usually have a track meet like at least 1 a week, if not 2. And so that's like 6 a week or maybe sometimes less. In fact, we actually made a rule that we only go to in-town meets because that is the insanity of what we can actually manage. Plus, we have another child that lives at home, another one in college, and all the other orchestra, and we've got one graduating and all the things, which Vera. But I feel like right now I am actually an introvert, and it is really difficult for me to say yes. Like my daughter, we had an off night last night, and one of my daughters was like, "Will you watch Pride and Prejudice with me?" And I'm like, every fiber in my being was like, no. Like, I just need to put on my PJs and lay in my bed and not talk to humans for actually days. But I could just take an evening because Jason had something going on. Anyway, I said yes. Yes. And it was glorious and wonderful and sweet. And it was actually kind of, like realistically, that's not a difficult ask because it's like, well, I watch TV with you. I think I can manage that even though, even though I really need just some space. But I do think especially as busy as we can be, in certain seasons of our lives, the hardest thing to lay down is our time. Like it's really hard to say because Jesus, put me as a priority in his life because he gave up everything for me, because he laid down his prerogative, his time. He gave it all up for me. I need to give up my time, for my kids and my loved ones and to be inconvenienced and even to be inconvenienced by things that are like, maybe things like interruptions almost, quote unquote, interruptions. I think sometimes we think about things that God is actually asking us to do as interruptions, ways that we should be serving the church or caring for people who we see on the street who are homeless or who need a hand in some way. Like, I think when we get so head down in the way that we do life, we look at those things as interruptions instead of as opportunities.
That's really good. At the beginning of the year, our pastor talked about how a mentor of his looked at his schedule and was like, this is too much. This is too much. Your whole life, there is no opportunity for you to truly do ministry with a schedule like this. You need to cut 20% out.
Wow.
As a pastor who's like life is ministry, he was like, you got too much going on. You need to remove this so that you have more space to say yes, Otherwise, I think we will see things as interruptions when we are scheduled to the nth degree. Of course, you're going to be like, I literally don't have the space to make that meal for that person. So I felt really convicted by that. I was like, you know what? I probably could do the same to my schedule, and look at it and say, what things, like, what am I do? How am I ever going to say yes to a friend or somebody in need if we are going? You
actually don't even see it.
No,
you
don't see the need.
Yeah. I think, there's 2 kinds of sin biblically that we can think of. And one is the sin of commission, like I'm committing a sin. I'm doing it actively. And there's the sin of omission, which is, I don't even know. I don't even see it. I have no awareness that I have blinders on and I'm not allowing myself to see the thing that God is asking me to see. So, well, one of the things that I think is important to talk about is the biblical idea of love. So the biblical idea of love is an action, right? If you think about what this verse says, this is how we know what love is. And it doesn't define it as, this emotional feeling that we get when somebody is nice with us or that we're attracted to or whatever the thing is that, or that we really genuinely like a thing enough that we could say that we love it. This is how we know what love is. It's an action. Jesus Christ laid down his life for us. And I think so oftentimes our definition of love is not an action. it's feeling. So how do we interact with this verse in a way that is more expansive, I think, than our society tells us that we should interact with an idea about love?
Yeah, I think that this kind of goes back to the very beginning of what you were saying. Like, it's practical. Like, if I say that I love my husband, yet every time I'm in the same room as him, I'm on my phone the whole time, or I'm head down trying to do 100 things and I never look up. Sometimes we joke in our house, but it's real that like 9 o'clock comes and I'm like, I see you for the first time. There you are,
Yeah.
But what I am doing communicates far more to him than what I am saying or have said in the past. It's what are my actions right now? It's in the same for him towards me. If he is not actively showing me by small things, it's making eye contact, it's putting our phones away, it's recognizing when the other person has served you and saying thank you, it's seeing the other person in there every day that you just expect. Like, I expect my husband's going to go to work and he's going to provide for us by working at his job. It's not taking that for, what's the word? Taking it for granted. It's actually acknowledging every once in a while, like, hey, I see you doing your job every day, and I know that is an act of love for our family. So it's recognizing those things. If we're not doing those things, then we're not loving one another. It's all active, and we know that. It's so funny because we talk about feelings as being love, but like when it comes down to it, everybody knows that if you ask them, how do you know somebody loves you? It's like, well, I know my mom loves me because, and then it's a bunch of actions. It's like, she always took care of me when I was sick. She calls me every morning. She listens when I'm upset. She sits with me when I need to cry. Like, whatever. It's all active.
This is something that we have been so excited about for so long. This new digital Bible study is finally here, and we are so excited to have it be a part of your membership and your experience with Dwell Differently. We want you to really just be saturated in the verse. We want you not just to memorize it, but to know what it means and to apply it to your life and to really have just a robust experience with the Lord. And that is what we're talking about today. If you want to get your digital Bible study, go to dwelldifferently.com. We cannot wait to give it to you. Okay, so I have a confession. This reminded me of something that happened to me this last week. I had, worked all day and the kids are home and I'm trying to get dinner on the table. And we've got, again, crazy schedule stuff going on all day. And I'm just trying to get everything done. And Jason comes in the door and he comes over and he like gives me a little kiss on my cheek. And I'm like, oh, hey, babe. But I'm not paying attention to him. I'm still cutting onions. I am like in like full on
mission.
Yes. Like, I got to get this on the table so that we have time to eat it before we leave. And then he starts telling me this funny story that actually it's a hilarious story. He like in the middle of the day found a dryer sheet like in the armpit of his shirt. And he was like in a public setting with people and he's like pulling this dryer sheet out. But anyway, he's telling me the story. And as he's telling it to me, somebody's phone is buzzing. And it's like somebody's got their, one of my teenagers has like their, yes. And it's like, I'm starting to go insane. I'm like, whose phone is that? And he's like still telling the story.
Glitching.
Yeah, I'm totally glitching. And I'm already like in, full on work mode. And I ended up like abandoning his story and walking out of the kitchen to try to find the phone. And like, he can put up with a lot of stuff, but like, and he wasn't like mad about it, but it like genuinely hurt his feelings. It like, he was just like, later, I could tell like something was up with him and I'm like, what's up? And he was like, do you realize I was telling you that story and you just like literally walked out of the kitchen and forgot about me? And I was like, oh yeah, I did that. Like, what did that communicate to him? Like, you're not important to me. I doubly communicated that to him by the way that I acted. Like, I didn't greet you when you came in the door. You came in and gave me a kiss on the cheek. You start telling me a funny story and I literally walk out of the room on you.
It's so hard in that moment though. I do the same thing to Matt all the time. Because you are at stimulus overload. And
Yeah.
Like he comes in from work and a lot of times I can't even look up. I'm like, you're doing 100 things. But that's such a simple, like, is it worth 30 seconds to put your knife down, literally, while you're chopping? It's a safety thing first. Safety first. But like, stop, make eye contact. Hi, I'm so happy you're home. Like, I never do that. I'm so wound up when he walks in the door. What is that?
I don't know.
Now I'm convicted. Look at you.
Well, here's the other thing. This happened, way too far into him being a pastor, where somebody had given like a guest sermon. We came home and I was like, oh my gosh, they did such a great job. And I just love what they said about this and And I just kind of went through this whole like gushing like excitement for this person who was just a regular like congregant in our church and just like applauding their effort and their insightfulness and whatever. And Jason, it was like his face just fell. And I could tell, like, I'm like, what's the matter? He goes, you never comment on my sermons like that. And I was like, oh my gosh. Because it was like, I'm so used to him being awesome.
Yeah, it's like, obviously.
Like his sermons are awesome. And occasionally I'm like, oh, you did such a great job today. Blah, blah, blah. But like to actually enumerate all the things, like I really appreciated what you said about this or that. And so that was like a huge gut check for me where I'm like, okay, I need to remember that he needs positive feedback from me. I cannot just assume that he knows that I think all of it, or just give a blanket like, that was a great sermon today. You know, like it matters. It really matters.
Gut checks.
Super gut checks. And also just this idea, again, it's not enough to just say like, hey, I love you. It's like, how are we living it out? You know, like our verse says, we ought to not love our brothers and sisters. It says we ought to lay down our lives for our brothers and sisters. Again, it's this action, this tangible, like whatever the thing is that I am focused on, whatever my priorities are, whatever my schedule is, whatever all the things, it's like, am I willing, even for just a minute, to set it aside and to say to the other human who has just now entered into my space, you're important to me. It's really so significant. Okay. So Vera, one last question for you. Maybe two. No, let's just do one. What is one way, like if you can think about a person in your life, not your spouse, not your kids, but like another person in your life, maybe somebody that you struggle to love, what is one way that you can actively love them? It's one thing that you could do to be like, you know, I really need to. And maybe somebody that you really do love, but you just haven't made time for.
I think a big one is like, I'll have these random thoughts of like, I should text this person or I should write them a note. And I have really great intentions and I have a hard time with the follow through. It's like, I'm not the person who keeps a stack of notes in my desk to write. Like I never have stamps on hand. Like I have all of these barriers, you know, because I'm not that type of person. But I think practicing doing the thing, it's like, I just need to do it. I just need to do it when I have the thought. I'm so good at just, I'll do that later. Or, I don't have stamps. I'll do that. I'll pick some up and I'll do that later. But I think it really comes down to doing the thing when people need you, you know? Yeah. I remember this time this was back when I was pole vaulting and it was a really hard season. I was jumping really poorly and it mattered a lot to me. And I didn't even know how big of a deal this was at the time because I didn't have kids. So I didn't understand what it meant to travel with small kids and to like just do something spur of the moment. And our sister Rebecca, she drove to Indiana 6 hours with a baby and came. She was like, you got to get your head together. Like, I just remember telling me this on the phone. She's like, I'm coming. You're going to get your head together and you're going to get this done. You know, I was trying to make the Olympic trials. So she got in the car with a baby and drove 6 hours, came for the night, came to my practice, slapped me around mentally in a good way, and reminded me of who I am and that I was capable of doing this thing that was really hard for me at the time. And it was a big deal to me. And she just did it. And now looking back, I'm like, that, like for me to on a dime decide I need to go be with this person, they need me. I know it's inconvenient, but I'm going to do it. That's hard. It's really hard. Yeah. And so I think it just comes down to sometimes being inconvenienced, quote unquote, and just being there for people.
Yeah. Yeah. It might look as simple as just going to the post office and buying stamps, apparently,
buying a
for
stack
you.
of stamps. For me, it's that simple.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I hear you. There are times when in fact, I have a running list right now of people that I need to write. People that I just want to write a card and say, you matter.
Mm-hmm.
I love you. Thank you so much for XYZ that you've done in my life. And it's like, what is it about? What barrier is there for me?
It's the stamp.
That I can't.
It's the stamp.
Stamp. Well, you know what's funny is so Jason has an aunt who sends birthday cards to everybody in the family. Like my kids who are like, I think I know what Aunt Pat looks like, get a birthday card. She's like the only person they get a birthday card consistently. And it's not like she writes some extravagant note. It just says, love Aunt Pat and Uncle Ron. But she is always on time. Like you can mark your calendar by the fact that a birthday card is coming on or maybe the day before your birthday. It's insanity. But like, that's what I want to be more like that. In fact, it's funny. I one time bought a bunch of birthday cards thinking that I was going to be that aunt and
my kids have never gotten a card from you.
Oh, they haven't. And maybe that's okay. Like nobody, don't feel the pressure of that. But like, what is one thing? That's my challenge as we finish off. What's one thing that maybe God is laying on your heart right now of like, I could actually do that thing. Vera, you need to go to the post office.
Getting stamps.
Anyway, guys, thanks for joining us today. We just love you. And we're so glad that you're here listening with us and learning God's word. And
there's a bonus episode this month. We're coming back.
We are coming back. Come back with us
for April.
And we are talking about our new free Bible study. If you want to learn this verse a little bit more, we have a free Bible study that you can download. Go to dwelldifferently.com and get yourself a free Bible study.
You're going to love it. It's awesome.
It is awesome. All right. Thanks, V. Okay. If you are looking for something to do with your teenage daughters, I would strongly encourage you checking out our Dwell on These Things Bible study. We have a teen version, and I just want to read a review from Lindsay M. Reese. It's on Amazon. She said, this is a life-changing study. I love this study so far. I'm doing it together with my teenage daughter, and it has been so meaningful and well-written so far. We are only on session 3, but I think it will be a lifelong memory for us. Isn't that awesome? So if you're interested, check out our teen version of Dwell on These Things, where you memorize a passage of scripture together, like with your daughter. How cool would that be? We are just so excited to put this out in the world. And if you've got teens that your youth group at church, whatever, we would love for them to get their hands on the Dwell on These Things Bible study and start memorizing and meditating on scripture together. What a cool thing.